In this video, we're going to take a look at basic MIDI sequencing. MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. It's a stream of data that describes musical information. Imagine that you're programming a robot to play a piano. You'd have to tell it what notes to play, when to start and stop playing notes, and how hard to play those notes. These commands are some of the key elements of MIDI. So we're now going to look at how you can use MIDI in Cubase. First things first, open up Cubase. Then select Project, Add Track, and select MIDI track. Set your count to 1 and add the track. Cubase has now created a MIDI track for us. The MIDI track will allow us to receive incoming MIDI data from an external source such as a MIDI keyboard, and then reroute this information around the software. What we now need to do is set up a plugin that's going to take our MIDI and output some audio. You need to do this by clicking Devices, VST Instruments, and then select one of the empty slots. Then select a sound module. I'm going to choose a Halion Sonic SE. Cubase will then prompt you and ask you if you would like to create a MIDI track and assign it to the plugin that you want to create. As we've already created our MIDI track, we're going to decline. This is the plugin that's going to interpret our MIDI. Close this window for now, and the VST Instruments window. We now need to check the inputs and outputs of our MIDI track. Currently, if we play our keyboard, although we can see down here that there's activity, i.e. Cubase is receiving MIDI data, our sound module isn't receiving that MIDI and being able to interpret it into audio. This means we have to make sure that our output is set to our plugin. I'll just change the program so that it plays a nice piano sound, and hopefully when I play again, we can hear that Cubase is recognising the MIDI, passing it to our sound module, and the sound module is then outputting some audio. Now that we've established all our MIDI connections, we now need to play something in. Firstly, make sure that the MIDI track is armed and ready to record. Next, make sure that the cursor is set to the left locator. Then, turn the metronome on, turn pre-count on. This will give us a 2-bar intro before we start playing, and then press the asterisk key to start recording. There we have it. We've recorded our first bit of MIDI into Cubase.